The alien screams of terror echoed through the streets as the unrelenting barrage of lethal sunlight assaulted Pac Prime, burning flesh from bone. But Tyler Cooper stood tall, immune to the deadly radiation. "How are you alive?" Ceres gasped, shielding her sensitive eyes as more skin charred away from her limbs. Sunlight flashed again, setting structures ablaze. Tyler winced at her agony, lifting Ceres' convulsing body from the cracked asphalt. The two had met minutes before, when Tyler's shuttle landed in perpetual night to work on a solar collector. Now, Pac Prime burned, attacked by saboteurs sparking solar flares. "I will help you," Tyler swore, racing through deserted streets in the blinding light. If he could not find cover, every Paclid would soon look like Ceres, blistered, raw, half dead. Tyler still needed to understand this alien world's crisis before he could offer aid. But no matter the Paclid's plight, Tyler vowed to protect them. On Earth, he was just another man. On Pac Prime, his natural immunity to sunlight made him a potential savior. Tyler blinked as light flooded his eyes. His vision swam into focus, revealing the dimly lit interior of a Paclid medical facility. He sat up slowly, his skin tingling with the lingering effects of radiation. Ceres stood by his bedside, her charred skin already showing signs of regeneration. Next to her was a Paclid in a doctor's coat, who extended a three-fingered hand. "I'm Dr. Zura. You're quite lucky to be alive, Mr. Cooper. Most Paclid would have suffered fatal radiation poisoning from exposure like that." Tyler shook his head, still dazed. Why am I okay then?" Dr. Zura hummed thoughtfully. "My theory. Your Earth has a much brighter sun than ours. Over millennia, humans must have evolved an extreme tolerance for radiation. Fascinating, really. I'd love to take some samples, run a few tests." "Tyler, that solar flare was no accident. Paclid radicals have taken control of the orbital mirrors that protect the construction site. They're using them as weapons now." A pit formed in Tyler's stomach. "Weapons against what?" "Us, the Loyalists, anyone who stands in their way." Ceres's compound eyes glinted. "Tyler, you're the only one who can survive in that unfiltered sunlight. You're our best hope of retaking the mirrors. If the radicals maintain control, they'll destroy the construction site, kill the thousands of workers trapped there." Ceres's tone was urgent, pleading. "Please, Tyler." Mind racing, Tyler asked, "Are there any other humans on Pac Prime, anyone else who could do this?" Dr. Zura shook her head. "You're the only one." "We need to reach the orbital mirror control center," Ceres explained. "But the radicals will undoubtedly use the mirrors to try and stop us. It'll be a gauntlet, and your unique biology is our only defense." Tyler took a deep breath, steeling himself. "All right, let's do this." Dr. Zura handed him a vial of meds for the pain, as Ceres tossed him a Paclid-sized spacesuit. The legs were comically long on him, but it would have to suffice. As they raced towards the hangar bay, warning klaxons began to blare. The radicals had launched another solar attack. Time was running out. Tyler felt his skin searing from the unfiltered sunlight as they sprinted across the launch pad. Ceres was already panting, her charred skin smoking. A concentrated beam of sunlight sliced through the platform right behind their heels, vaporizing metal. They leapt up the ramp into their waiting ship just as another solar beam slashed through the hull. Alarms blared as the ship lurched sideways, a landing strut severed clean off. Ceres' claws worked the controls frantically, coaxing the crippled ship into the air. The ship clawed for altitude, straining against Pac Prime's gravity. Shuddering solar blasts rocked the ship, the viewports fracturing from the intense heat. "Cooling systems shot! We're being cooked alive in here!" Ceres shouted over the cacophony of alarms. Smoke was already filling the cabin from her smoldering exoskeleton. Tyler stripped off his baggy spacesuit, ignoring the fresh wave of pain as his blistered skin met scorching air. He flung the suit over Ceres, shielding her from the deadly sunlight. The rubbery material immediately began smoking and charring, but bought them precious seconds. Proximity sensors screamed as they neared the first orbital mirror. The massive metal disc already glowed cherry red, its surface reflecting lethal solar rays. Nowhere to land, the searing heat would melt their hull on contact. "Swing us around. Get the damaged side facing that thing," Tyler ordered. Ceres complied, wrenching the ship into position. Tyler punched the airlock release, a howl of decompressing atmosphere whipping past him into the void. Ceres reached for him, but too late. Tyler leapt into open space, propelling himself towards the hellishly hot mirror. He hit the molten surface hands first, flesh instantly blistering. Scrabbling for purchase, Tyler hauled himself up onto the mirror's face. His smouldering soul struggled for traction on the searing hot metal. Tyler took off in a dead sprint across the blazing expanse. Making for the service airlock, he prayed still functioned at the center of this infernal disk. Every second counted. Tyler's smoldering fist slammed into the airlock control panel, melting plastic fusing to his scorched flesh. He screamed through gritted teeth. The outer door screeched open, and he flung himself inside, sealing it behind him. Alarms shrieked as the airlock cycled, but the agony of his charred skin drowned it out. The inner door hissed open to reveal a squad of pack-led radicals bristling with weapons. Tyler didn't hesitate. He charged, crashing into them like a freight train. They tumbled in a writhing heap, Tyler's raw flesh searing with pain at every touch. Blinded with agony, he ripped a rifle from a radical's claws and opened fire. The cramped airlock amplified the gun's roar. It was over in seconds. Tyler staggered to his feet, gasping, "Ceres, where's the control room?" Her voice crackled over the helmet radio, the whine of failing engines in the background. "To 2 levels up, end of the hall." He ran, blood pounding in his ears, blistered skin pulling and cracking. He skidded around a corner and froze. A blast door blocked the way, glowing hellish red from the solar barrage outside. Tyler grit his teeth and rammed it with his shoulder. The searing metal scorched through his suit, broiling his flesh. He hit it again and again, howling through the pain, until the tortured door screeched open. Tyler stumbled into the control room, squinting against the blinding glare flooding through the viewports. A dozen pack-led technicians whirled to face him, claws scrambling for weapons. "Shut it down," Tyler roared, training his gun on the nearest radical. "Shut it all down now." The pack-led froze, mandibles quivering. Tyler fired past their heads, melting a display in a shower of sparks. "Now, damn it!" The lead technician gibbered orders, and the others leapt to obey. One by one, the orbital mirrors rotated away from the raging sun. The deadly light dimmed. In Tyler's helmet, Ceres cheered. "You did it! The site is safe!" Spent and shaking with agony, Tyler let the rifle clatter to the floor. His legs buckled and he collapsed, the room spinning into darkness. Tyler floats in the viscous regeneration fluid, the gentle hum of the tank's machinery filling his ears. The liquid is cool and soothing against his ravaged skin, a welcome respite from the searing agony of his injuries. Through the glass, he sees the indistinct shapes of Ceres and Dr. Zura, their features blurred by the green liquid and his own exhaustion. Dr. Zura's voice filters through the speaker by his ear, her tone gentle but firm. "Don't try to move, Tyler. You're in a regeneration tank. Your injuries were severe, but you're going to be okay." At her words, memories flashed through Tyler's mind in disjointed snippets. The hellish heat of the orbital mirror, the acrid smell of his own flesh searing, the bone-shaking recoil of the pack-led rifle. He shudders involuntarily, causing the fluid to swirl around him. "Safe?" comes Ceres' reply, his tone laced with something like reverence. "You saved thousands of lives, Tyler. You're a hero." Hero? The word sits strangely in Tyler's mind. He's no hero, just an engineer who did what needed to be done. What anyone would have done in his place. Right? A tap on the glass draws his attention. It's Dr. Zura, her compound eyes wide with excitement. "Tyler, your biology, it's extraordinary. The resilience you displayed, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. With your permission, I'd like to study it further. It could lead to breakthrough treatments for radiation sickness, maybe even gene therapies to enhance our own resistance." Tyler's gut clenches at the thought. Being studied, his genetic code spliced and inserted into the Pakled. It feels wrong, invasive. But then he thinks of Ceres, her skin charred and smoking, of the countless other Pakled who suffer from even mild radiation exposure. If his genes could ease their pain, prevent the horrific injuries he witnessed, doesn't he have an obligation to help? Slowly, fighting against the drag of the regeneration fluid, Tyler nods. Dr. Zura's mandibles twitch in what Tyler has come to recognize as a smile. Thank you, Tyler. This could change everything. Exhaustion tugs at Tyler's mind, the soothing embrace of the tank lulling him towards sleep. As he drifts off, his thoughts churn with the implications of his decision. He came to Pac Prime as a simple engineer, tasked with building a solar collector. Never in his wildest dreams did he imagine his genes might hold the key to the Pakled's future. The weight of that responsibility and the magnitude of the trust the Pakled are placing in him is the last conscious thought that flickers through his mind before sleep claims him. Tyler stands before the mirror in his quarters, naked from the waist up. The skin of his torso is smooth and unblemished, as if he had never set foot on that hellish orbital mirror. He runs his fingers over his chest, marveling at Dr. Zura's handiwork. The regeneration tank had done its job flawlessly. The door chime trills, startling him from his reverie. He pulls on a shirt and calls out, "Come in!" The door slides open to reveal Ceres, her exoskeleton gleaming under the room's soft lights. "Tyler, I hope I'm not interrupting, but I have news. The High Council has summoned you. They wish to honor your bravery in an official ceremony." Tyler shifts his weight from foot to foot, discomfort written plain on his features. "Honor me? Ceres, I'm no hero. I just did what anyone would have done in that situation." Ceres clicks her mandibles in what Tyler has come to recognize as a chuckle. "Not anyone could have done what you did, Tyler. Your unique biology, your courage, you saved us all. The Council recognizes this. Please, you must attend." Tyler sighs, knowing there's no use arguing with Ceres when she gets like this. "All right, lead the way." The council chamber is a grand affair, all soaring ceilings and glittering mosaics depicting Pakled history. Tyler feels small and out of place as he's led to the center of the room, hundreds of compound eyes tracking his every move. The High Counselor, resplendent in shimmering robes, steps forward. "Tyler Cooper of Earth, your actions saved countless lives and ensured the success of our most critical project. But even more than that, your extraordinary biology has opened up new possibilities for our people. Thanks to the research you've allowed, we stand on the brink of a new era, one where we may no longer be bound by the limitations of our star." She reaches out, draping a heavy medallion around Tyler's neck. The metal is cool against his skin, the weight of it more than physical. He stands there, stunned, as the magnitude of the moment sinks in. He came to Pac Prime as just another engineer, a cog in the machine. Now, through a twist of fate and genetics, he's become something more. A hero, a symbol of hope for an entire species. As the applause dies down, the High Counselor leans in close, her voice lowered to a confidential whisper. "There's another matter, Tyler. Dr. Zura's research. It's attracting attention from beyond our world. Other races are taking notice. Some see the potential for profit, others for power. We fear they may attempt to acquire this knowledge by any means necessary." She fixes him with a grave stare, compound eyes glinting in the chamber's light. "Including abducting the source." Tyler feels a chill race down his spine as the implications become clear. He's not just a hero anymore. He's a target, the key to unlocking the Pakled's genetic future, and a prize for any unscrupulous enough to seize it. The High Counselor straightens, her voice rising to address the chamber once more. "In light of this, the Council has decided to assign a protective detail to Mr. Cooper for the duration of his stay on Pac Prime. His safety is now our highest priority." She gestures to the side of the chamber, where a group of heavily armed Pakled stand at attention. Their chitin armor gleams under the lights, and Tyler can make out the telltale glint of energy weapons. His bodyguards, his jailers. On an alien world half a galaxy from home, Tyler suddenly feels more alone than ever. Tyler's paranoia proves prescient mere days later when a hail of plasma bolts sends him diving for cover outside the research facility. Peeking around the corner of a parked hovercar, Tyler spots his attackers, a squad of Zorgons, their mottled green skin and cruel hooked beaks unmistakable. Notorious as mercenaries and slavers, Zorgons are the last people Tyler wants to tangle with. "Surrender, human," the lead Zorgon squawks, his voice grating like rusted metal. "You will come with us for study." Tyler knows all too well what study means to a Zorgon, vivisection on an operating table. "Not a chance, Beakface," he shouts back, fumbling for his trusty multi-tool. It's a poor substitute for a real weapon, but it's all he has. Plasma scorches the air as Tyler ducks and weaves between vehicles, the asphalt bubbling under the onslaught. He risks a glance at his tool's display. Maybe if he can bounce the sonic agitator off that wall. The Zorgons are closing in, talons scraping on the pavement. Tyler whirls, aiming his jerry-rigged sonic weapon, but a bolt of plasma slags it to scrap. Cursing, Tyler hurls the sparking remains at the nearest Zorgon. It screeches as the electrified metal sears its flesh, buying Tyler a precious second to sprint for the next row of cars. But there are too many of them. Plasma bolts strafe Tyler's cover, forcing him into the open. He's out of tricks, out of places to run. The Zorgons close in, weapons leveled at his chest. "Last chance, human," the leader gloats. "Surrender or die." Tyler braces himself, preparing for a futile last charge. But a sudden hail of needle rounds sends the Zorgons scattering for cover. A squad of Pakled enforcers pours into the lot, chitin armor gleaming, with Ceres at their head. "Back off, carrion eaters," Ceres bellows, mandibles clacking in fury. "The human is under Pakled protection." The Zorgons return fire, but the Pakled's superior numbers and firepower quickly turn the tide. Within minutes, the last few mercenaries are fleeing, leaving their fallen comrades behind. Ceres helps Tyler to his feet, compound eyes checking him for injuries. "Are you all right?" Tyler nods, though his heart is still racing. "Thanks to you, but Ceres, this is only the beginning, isn't it?" Ceres's eye stalks droop. "I fear so. Your genetic code is too valuable. Every unscrupulous force in the galaxy will be after you now." The High Council wastes no time relocating Tyler to a fortified bunker deep below the Pakled's most secure military installation. But even there, he isn't safe. Sensor probes and surveillance drones constantly buzz the perimeter. Heavily armed intruders, some with cloaking tech Tyler's never seen before, make nearly daily attempts to infiltrate the base. Tyler quickly loses track of the number of close calls. Each one frays his nerves a little more, until he can barely sleep, can barely eat. Even with an entire platoon dedicated to his safety, it's only a matter of time before one of these attempts succeeds. The final straw is the poison. A tasteless, odorless toxin slipped into his food by a compromised servant droid. Only Ceres's lightning reflexes with the antitoxin saved his life. As he lies in the medbay, still twitching from the neurotoxin's effects, Tyler reaches his breaking point. "I can't do this anymore, Ceres," he whispers hoarsely. "I can't live like a prisoner, constantly looking over my shoulder, and I can't keep putting your people at risk. I need to disappear, go somewhere no one will ever find me." Ceres grips Tyler's hand, his chitin rough against Tyler's skin. "Tyler, you can't. You're not just a man anymore. You're a symbol, a beacon of hope for my people. If you run, that hope dies with you." Tyler closes his eyes, Ceres' words warring with his exhaustion, his fear. He knows his friend is right. He knows he can't abandon the Pakled, not after everything they've sacrificed for him, but neither can he stay here, a sitting target, waiting for the day his luck finally runs out. An idea takes shape in his mind. A desperate, dangerous gambit. But at this point, what does he have to lose? Tyler meets Ceres's gaze, a glint of steel in his eye. What if we give them what they want, or at least, what they think they want? Ceres tilts his head quizzically, mandibles twitching. "What do you mean?" "I mean, we let them take me, or rather, we let them think they're taking me." Tyler sits up straighter, the plan crystallizing as he speaks. You said it yourself. My genes are what they're really after. So we give them some genes. Fake ones. Ceres' eye stalks stiffen as he catches on. A decoy. One with fabricated genetic material. But Tyler, for that to work, you'd have to... I let myself be captured. Yeah, and you'd have to make it look real. Sell the ruse. Tyler's throat is dry, but his voice doesn't waver. It's the only way, Ceres. The only way to get them off my back and off Puck Prime's back for good. Ceres is silent for a long moment, his facial ridges furrowed in thought. Tyler can practically hear the gears turning in his head, calculating risks, weighing odds. Finally, Ceres looks up, meeting Tyler's gaze squarely. All right, let's do it. Let's beat these scavengers at their own game once and for all. In the depths of the Pack-led military base, Tyler and Dr. Zura huddle over a workbench, a tangle of beakers and test tubes strewn before them. Ceres stands guard at the door, his chitin armor gleaming under the harsh fluorescent lights. The decoy serum is ready, Dr. Zura announces, holding up a vial of clear liquid. It mimics the markers of your radiation resistance perfectly, Tyler, but it's completely inert, no actual genetic material. Tyler nods, taking the vial and tucking it into his pocket. Perfect. Now we let word spread that we've cracked the code, that we've isolated the key to my biology. They don't have to wait long for the bait to be taken. Mere days after they leak rumors of their breakthrough, a sleek Cortex Consortium ship touches down on Puck Prime, its chrome hull gleaming under the perpetually dark sky. The Cortex delegation is led by a tall, spindly being named Zix. His bulbous eyes glitter with avarice as he regards Tyler across the negotiating table. Name your price, Mr. Cooper. The Cortex Consortium desires exclusive rights to this marvel of genetic engineering. Tyler leans back, feigning reluctance. I don't know, Zix. This isn't just about money. This serum could revolutionize medicine, save countless lives. We have to ensure it's in the right hands. Zix's long fingers steeple together. I assure you, the consortium's hands are the rightest of all. We have the resources, the distribution network, to bring this to the galaxy at large. The haggling drags on for hours, Tyler and Ceres skillfully driving up the price. Finally, they reach an agreement. The handover will happen at Way Station Zeta, a notorious smuggler's den located in unclaimed space. Neutral ground. As the Cortex delegation departs, Tyler turns to Ceres, a sly grin spreading across his face. Phase 1 complete. Now for Phase 2. Using heavily encrypted channels, Tyler reaches out to the Cortex Consortium's chief rivals, the brutal Zorgans and the cunning Yixil. He spins them tales of the Consortium's impending monopoly on the galaxy's greatest medical breakthrough. He stokes the flames of their envy and their greed, and he lets slip the details of the upcoming deal on Way Station Zeta. The pieces are in place, the trap is set. Way Station Zeta is a wretched hive of scum and villainy, a warren of dimly lit alleys and seedy bars. In one such establishment, the Cortex delegation awaits the handover, sipping noxious liquors and eyeing the other patrons warily. The door slams open, the sudden silence deafening. Zorgan mercenaries pour into the bar, their mottled green scales glistening with sweat, pulse rifles held at the ready. From the other entrance, sleek Yixil assassins flow like quicksilver, monomolecular blades glinting in the low light. The serum, the Zorgon leader grunts. Hand it over! Zix rises to his feet, his own bodyguards leveling their weapons. You have no claim here, brute. The Consortium's deal is ironclad. The standoff teeters on the brink of bloodshed, fingers tightening on triggers, muscles coiling to strike. And then a voice cuts through the tension like a knife. Enough! Tyler strides out from the shadows, a vial held aloft in his hand. Beside him stand Ceres and a phalanx of grim-faced Pack-led warriors, their weapons trained on the feuding factions. You want this? Tyler shouts, his voice ringing with authority. Fine, but you're going to have to work together. This serum is useless without the activation enzyme, which is coded to my unique biology. You need me, and I'll only work with all of you, together. Silence descends thick and heavy. The factions eye each other, mistrust and hatred etched into every line of their alien features. But the lure of the prize is too great. Slowly, grudgingly, they lower their weapons. "We accept your terms, Tyler Cooper," Zik says, the words visibly painful to utter. "The consortium will work with the Zorgans and the Yixil, for now." As the factions disperse, each already plotting to betray the others, Tyler allows himself a small smile. They have no idea that they're chasing a phantom, that the real prize, Tyler himself, will always remain just out of reach. With the galaxy's most powerful players now dancing to his tune, Tyler can begin to put his real plan into action. He'll use their resources, their influence, to aid the Pac-Led's development. He'll leverage their greed to secure a better future for Pac Prime. And maybe, just maybe, he can find a way to help humanity too. To use his unique position to bridge the gap between the species, to forge a path towards coexistence and cooperation. It's a daunting task, fraught with peril at every turn. But Tyler Cooper has never been one to shy away from a challenge. With Ceres by his side and the fate of worlds in his hands, he'll face whatever the galaxy throws at him. One step at a time, Tyler and the Pac-Led delegation make their way back to their ship, the sounds of arguing factions fading behind them. As they step aboard, Ceres turns to Tyler, his compound eyes glinting with worry. "Tyler, are you sure about this? These are dangerous beings you're dealing with. If they discover the truth..." Tyler lays a hand on his friend's chitinous shoulder. "I know the risk, Ceres, but this is our best shot. We need their resources if Pac Prime is going to have a fighting chance. And maybe, if we play this right, we can change the galactic game entirely." Dr. Zura chimes in from her seat at the navigation console. "The Cortex, the Zorgans, the Yixil, they're all so focused on their own interests, their own profits. They've never faced a united front before. If we can keep them working together, even nominally, it could shift the balance of power." Tyler nods, settling into the command chair as the ship lifts off. "Exactly. And that's where I come in. As long as they believe they need me, need my biology, I've got leverage. We just have to keep up the illusion." Ceres' mandibles twitch in the Pac-Led equivalent of a frown. "And what of the serum? If they discover it's inert?" "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it," Tyler says, his jaw set with determination. "For now, we focus on the next step. Dr. Zura, set a course for the Cortex Consortium's main research facility. It's time I took a more hands-on role in their miracle cure project." As the stars blur into the swirling vortex of hyperspace, Tyler leans back in his chair, his mind racing. He's playing a dangerous game, balancing on a razor's edge. One misstep, one slip, and it could all come crashing down. But he's come too far to back down now. The stakes are too high for Pac Prime, for humanity, for the galaxy itself. Failure is not an option. Tyler's hand drifts to the vial in his pocket, the fake serum that started it all. It's a reminder of the deception at the heart of his plan, the lie upon which everything hinges. But it's also a symbol of hope, a fragile, desperate hope, but hope nonetheless. Hope for a better future, a brighter tomorrow. And as long as that hope endures, as long as there's even the slightest chance of success, Tyler Cooper will keep fighting. No matter the odds, no matter the cost. The ship hurtles on through the void, carrying its cargo of lies and dreams, of danger and possibility. And at its heart, one man, one human, stands tall. Ready to face whatever the galaxy throws his way. As the uneasy alliance between the Cortex Consortium, Zorgans and Yixil bears fruit, Tyler can't help but marvel at the rapid advancements taking place on Pac Prime. Dr. Zura's lab hums with activity day and night, alien and Pac-Led scientists working side by side to unlock the secrets of the universe. New technologies emerge at a breakneck pace, advanced propulsion systems, regenerative medicines, even early prototypes of artificial gravity. The Pac-Led, so long held back by the limitations of their star, begin to dream of a future among the stars. Construction of an orbital shipyard begins, the first step towards a Pac-Led starfleet. Tyler watches the massive structure take shape from the window of his secure compound, pride swelling in his chest. But as the weeks stretch into months with no tangible progress on the promised serum, Tyler senses a change in the atmosphere. The easy camaraderie between the alien factions starts to fray, replaced by furtive glances and hushed whispers. Dr. Zura grows increasingly evasive about her research, always claiming to be on the cusp of a breakthrough, but never quite delivering. Tension reaches a breaking point when a squad of heavily armed Zorgans storms the research facility, catching the Pack-led security forces off guard. Alarms blare as the invaders fight their way into the heart of the complex, leaving a trail of shattered equipment and injured scientists in their wake. Tyler and Ceres, huddled in a secure room with Dr. Zura, watch in horror as the Zorgons blast open the door to the main lab. The lead invader, a scarred brute with a prosthetic arm, storms up to Dr. Zura, shoving his gun under her chin. "Where is the serum, Bug?" he snarls, his breath hot and rank. "We've waited long enough for your promised miracle cure. It's time to pay up." Dr. Zura trembles, her compound eyes wide with terror. I don't have it. The serum, it doesn't exist. It never did." The Zorgon's eyes narrow, his finger tightening on the trigger. But before he can fire, a barrage of plasma bolts slam into him, throwing him across the room. Cortex and Yixiel forces pour into the lab, weapons blazing. In seconds, the facility descends into a chaotic melee, the three factions turning on each other in a vicious display of betrayal and bloodshed. Caught in the middle, Tyler and Ceres can only watch as the walls buckle and crumble under the onslaught of advanced weaponry. "We have to stop this," Tyler shouts over the din of battle, his eyes wild. "They're going to destroy everything." Ceres nods grimly, drawing his sidearm. "I'll cover you, go." Taking a deep breath, Tyler sprints out into the maelstrom, dodging energy blasts and flying debris. He climbs atop a shattered console, waving his arms frantically. "Stop, everyone, stop!" he screams, his voice raw with desperation. The fighting continues unabated, the factions too consumed by rage to even notice him. Tyler looks around wildly, his eyes landing on the fractured remains of a plasma conduit. Sparks flicker along its length, and in that moment, Tyler knows what he has to do. He lunges for the conduit, ignoring Ceres' warning shout. His hands close around the sparking cable, and he screams as electricity surges through his body, setting every nerve alight with agony. But it works. The combatants falter, startled by the sudden piercing scream. In that momentary lull, Tyler staggers to his feet, smoke curling from his scorched hands. "There is no serum," he shouts, his voice cracking with pain and exhaustion. "There never was, but look around you. Look at what we've achieved working together. New tech, new knowledge, new hope for all our peoples." He gestures to the ruined lab, to the injured scientists huddled in the corners. "We have a chance to build something great here, something that benefits everyone, but only if we stop fighting each other." The faction leaders hesitate, their weapons lowering fractionally. In that moment of uncertainty, Ceres and the remaining Pack-led security forces make their move, surrounding the combatants and forcing a tense standoff. In the hours of negotiations that follow, Tyler's words begin to sink in. Grudgingly at first, but with growing enthusiasm, the factions start to discuss a new way forward, a true collaboration built on trust and mutual benefit rather than deception and greed. And so in the ruins of the research facility, an unlikely alliance is forged. Under Tyler's guidance, the factions begin to pool their resources and knowledge, not for individual gain, but for the betterment of all. It's a long road ahead, fraught with challenges and setbacks, but for the first time there's a real chance for lasting peace and prosperity. For Tyler, it's a role he never could have imagined, diplomat, mediator, leader. But as he watches the Pack-led and their former adversaries work side by side, he knows he's exactly where he needs to be. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The future of Pac Prime, and perhaps the galaxy itself, rests in the hands of an unassuming human engineer, and he'll be damned if he lets them down. Tyler stands at the edge of the launch pad, watching as the final components of the Pack-led solar collector are lifted into the night sky. The massive structure glints in the starlight, a testament to the ingenuity and cooperation of the once warring factions. But even as the achievement fills his heart with pride, Tyler can't shake the gnawing sense of unease that's been growing within him. He thinks back to the sacrifices made, the lives lost in the conflict that nearly tore the Alliance apart. The weight of those decisions, the burden of the deception he orchestrated, hangs heavy on his shoulders. And then there's the other matter, the one he's been keeping from everyone, even Ceres. Tyler looks down at his hands, remembering the searing agony of the orbital mirror, the blistering heat that should have killed him. His radiation resistance, the gift that made him so valuable, so vital to the Paclid's future. It's fading. He can feel it in the way his skin burns more easily now, in the fatigue that dogs his every step. He doesn't know if it's a result of his repeated exposures or some unforeseen side effect of Dr. Zura's experiments. What he does know is that he can't keep it hidden forever. The Alliance is still fragile, the peace tenuous. If they knew their savior was just a man, as mortal and flawed as any other. Tyler shakes his head, his jaw set with determination. No, he can't let that happen. He's come too far, sacrificed too much to let it all unravel now. He needs to see this through, to ensure the Alliance is strong enough to stand on its own. And so, with a heavy heart, he calls a meeting of the faction leaders. They gather in a small private room, their eyes curious, expectant. Tyler takes a deep breath, steeling himself for what he must do. "There's something I need to tell you," he begins, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "Something I've kept from you, from everyone." He sees the flicker of unease in their eyes, the slight tensing of postures. But he presses on, the words spilling out in a rush. "My resistance, the thing that made me valuable to you, it's not permanent, it's fading, has been for a while now. I'm not the savior you think I am. I'm just a man, flawed and mortal, like any other." The room erupts in a cacophony of shock and dismay. Voices rise in anger, in accusation. Tyler weathers the storm, his head bowed, his heart heavy. "Why tell us this now?" Zix demands, his bulbous eyes narrowed. "After everything we've been through, everything we've sacrificed?" "Because you deserve the truth," Tyler says simply. "Because our strength, our future, it can't depend on any one individual. It has to come from all of us, working together." Silence falls, heavy and thick. Tyler can see the gears turning behind each alien face, the weight of his words sinking in. And then, slowly, understanding dawns. Heads nod, shoulders straighten. They begin to see, to truly comprehend, the deeper truth in what Tyler is saying. "You're right," Ceres says at last, his voice soft but firm. "We've put too much faith in one man, in one genetic quirk. Our true strength lies in our unity, in the bonds we've forged through fire and blood." One by one, the other leaders voice their agreement. There's a sense of loss, of grief for the symbol Tyler had become, but there's also a newfound resolve, a determination to carry on the work he started. As the meeting adjourns and the leaders filter out, each clasping Tyler's hand in silent acknowledgement, Tyler feels a weight lift from his shoulders. He's done what he needed to do, ensured that the Alliance can stand on its own. And now, with the time he has left, he can finally rest. He sits with Dr. Zura, poring over her latest findings, offering what insights he can. He laughs with Ceres, trading stories of their wildly different worlds. And always, in the back of his mind, is the knowledge that his time is running out. It happens on a clear night, the stars shining bright above the Paclid cityscape. Tyler sits on a balcony, his breath fogging in the cool air, his eyes fixed on the solar collector hanging in the sky like a second moon. He feels a presence beside him and turns to see Ceres, his chitin gleaming softly in the starlight. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Tyler murmurs, gesturing to the collector. "A beacon of hope of what we can achieve when we work together." Ceres nods, his mandibles clicking softly. "It is. And it's all thanks to you, Tyler. You changed the course of our world, of all our worlds." Ceres starts to protest, but Tyler cuts him off with a gentle hand on his arm. It's all right, my friend, I'm at peace. I've done what I set out to do, and I know that you'll carry on the work we started. Tyler leans back, his eyes drifting closed. In the end, it wasn't my genes or my actions that defined me, but my humanity. The same humanity that drives us to explore, to reach out across the stars and find common ground. He takes one last long look at the shining beacon in the sky, a symbol of all they've achieved and all that's yet to come. With a final peaceful smile, Tyler Cooper, the man from Earth who changed the fate of worlds, breathes his last. But his legacy, the bonds of friendship and unity he forged, will endure long after his passing, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.